Queen City News is a proud sponsor of this year's Walk to End Alzheimer. Every step is a step closer to a cure.
Yeah, and this morning we're sharing a story of a longtime advocate who says the disease has impacted her family for generations.
My grandmother, before she married my grandfather, was actually studying to be a concert pianist.
For Rosemarie Marshall, these photos provide a brief glimpse into her family history.
She lost her music. She no longer knew how to play the music.
Part of that is also a history of Alzheimer's. As she says, it dates as far back as her great-grandfather.
We used to hear stories about him walking the streets of Brooklyn and getting lost. So my great-grandmother got in the habit of pinning his name and address and phone number to his jacket.
The disease, sadly, would work its way down generation by generation, stealing her grandmother and then her mom. But Rosemarie can find light in just about any situation and shared with us a funnier moment that happened when her mom and aunts moved Grandma out of the house but couldn't find Grandpa's ashes.
Mom, we can't find Daddy's ashes. And she said, I thought he'd like to be in the garden, so I sprinkled his ashes over the lilacs last spring. And so it was like, okay, well, now we know where Grandpa is. He's not going to be buried with Grandma.
Make no mistake, though, along with the laughter, there's also a sadness she has, especially when recounting what the disease did to her mother, Camille, changing her from someone who would invite anyone to their table to a woman who was paranoid and scared of strangers.
Just seeing the personality change was heartbreaking. It was absolutely heartbreaking. And that's what this disease does. It robs people of their dignity, it robs them of their personality, it robs them of who they are.
As Rosemarie says, the heartbreak isn't just what the disease does to the person diagnosed, but also to those like her father, Vic, who had to give up being a primary caregiver once it became too much to handle.
He had a tremendous amount of guilt about that, but I think he also understood that that was the best thing for both of them, because he just physically could not keep up with it any longer.
As she says, her family struggled with that decision, especially one of her siblings.
I remember telling her, this is not easy on Daddy, it's not easy on us, but we have to accept the decision because otherwise we may have two dead parents. And that's hard.
If you have a purple flower, like Rosemarie Marshall,
but it's that insight on a personal level that's made Rosemarie such a great asset to the Alzheimer's Association. After her mom's passing in 2016, she got involved and has since helped others find help, like her coworker who reached out for advice on putting her own mom into a care facility.
That, to me, was such a powerful opportunity to make a difference, which I probably would not have been able to do if I had not had the experience working with the association.
Her experience has also taught her how much these walks mean and how much donations make a difference in funding research. Because as she says, each dollar raised brings us that much more closer to a day where we don't have to lose anyone else to Alzheimer's.
Maybe we can't cure it in my lifetime, but maybe we can at least slow it down. And maybe my nieces and nephews will see a cure.